this in? Oh, okay. Okay. Well, it was different in the rundown before I left. That's why it was written. I mean, I have no problem doing it that way. I'll just make sure I'll sig out instead of tossing.
Have a good night. Yeah. Test, 1, 2, 3, testing. Yep, I'm going to just try not to start bawling. I just can't think about it, because if I sit here and think about it, I'll start crying. Yeah, there you go. Once more. Thanks.
Kill them all. Walking bulletproof. Sorry if you're talking to me. 1 minute out.
Amber, do you have me okay?
Yes, I do, sir.
All right, turn your mic down. You're coming in a little hot.
Yeah, that's what I realized that just now.
All right. We got a few extra seconds, so I'm going to brief you on something for the 11 o'clock show. Not the 10, but the 11 o'clock show. Jarvis is going to toss out to you in a double box.
Okay.
So you'll both be on a box together.
Okay.
You will not be able to hear him because of how we have the audio mix minused out.
Okay.
So I've already instructed him to stick to script and then start your read pretty much like you would start your read just with script, because you will not be able to hear anything he says. One of us will back here will cue you.
Got it. Okay.
The 10 o'clock news starts right now on Fox Carolina, the local station.
Yeah, it does worry me that it was even allowed to get through the doors. I mean, there shouldn't be any kind of guns allowed to get through the doors of the school.
A BB gun at a Greenville County high school leads to 2 arrests and panic for some parents. We have team coverage of the investigation tonight. Between a sold-out Paul McCartney concert, a baseball game, and Downtown Alive, thousands of people will be flooding into Greenville tomorrow. Hear how police are ramping up security. And it can happen in just minutes. Experts say last year, more than 50 kids died in hot cars. And tonight, we have an important warning for families.
Especially in direct sunlight, they're just easy bake ovens.
Good evening, I'm Cody Alcorn.
And I'm Diana Watson. And in one of tonight's top stories, 2 students from Berea High School have been charged after a BB gun was found on campus. According to school officials, a girl noticed the weapon in a book bag and told an adult. When school resource officers attempted to confront the student, they say he walked out of the classroom into another, prompting a full lockdown. We've been on top of this story all day for you.
And tonight, Fox Carolina's Jarvis Robertson picks up our coverage. He's live outside the Law Enforcement Center in downtown Greenville. So, Jarvis, what's the latest?
Well, guys, it's certainly been a chaotic day for everyone involved at Berea High School. Some students were taking final exams, other end-of-course tests to close out the year. All of this happening while officials were looking for a student with a BB gun.
When that school resource officer went to go make contact and pulled that student out of the classroom, that student had wandered out of that classroom and was nowhere to be found.
Around 11:15 Wednesday morning at Berea High School, Greenville County deputies were called because of a weapon on campus. It was discovered that a student had a BB gun in a book bag.
We called in all available school resource officers, deputies in the area, the air support, which you can hear up in the air right now, in an attempt to locate this student. A perimeter was quickly and efficiently set up.
Deputies say a 16-year-old student is one of the suspects and says he told them he brought the BB gun to school after a recent argument with another student.
When the deputies located that backpack and the gun had been transferred to another student's backpack. Both the initial student and that second student whose backpack was in possession of the gun are detained and are facing charges at this time.
And tonight, both students are charged with possession of a weapon on school property. All of this happened while some students were testing. Some of them had to continue testing during the lockdown because they couldn't stop or go back to make up those tests. Greenville County schools practice lockdown drills 4 times a year, and today was a testament to what school officials tell students: if you see something, say something.
While at the time she didn't know if it was a BB gun or a real gun, the student knew that it was a problem and quickly reported that to a trusted adult, which is what we ask students at every age to do.
Now, both students involved in this case are in the 9th grade. However, their names have not been released because of their ages. Now, according to district officials, both students have been suspended and recommended for expulsion. Certainly, this is a developing story that will continue to follow. Reporting live in Greenville County tonight, I'm Jarvis Robertson, Fox Carolina, the 10 o'clock news.
And we have team coverage here at 10, social media, a powerful tool here for information that helped many of these students and parents stay informed as this situation unfolded. Parents and students, you can imagine, breathing a sigh of relief that it was not as bad as it could have been. Again, tonight, parents and students thankful that this is how it all ended on what it could have been.
That's right. And Fox Carolina's Amber Worthy is live outside the school district office with reaction from several of the students who were impacted. Amber?
Definitely, and those students, the parents, the administrators, just glad.
When she told me that, she said, pray for Berea High School. I'm in Berea High School. And I said, are y'all okay? She said, no, they found 2 boys that they have guns.
A 2-hour lockdown impacted hundreds of students during testing week at Berea High School.
It's going to affect them, the seniors, about doing their tests and stuff. So, like, them little 2 boys, they mess it up for them, for actually everyone with it.
But also their parents, who were immediately concerned about how their children were doing.
I got my work truck flying down 85 to get back to work so I can get my personal car to come over here. But I see it on TV all the time. It's becoming the norm. It's sadly becoming the norm. But when you get the call that it's your kid's school, it's like, holy cow, it just shouldn't happen,
With everyone looking for answers at the same time, many were left to sit in their classrooms just wondering what all was happening in their school.
At first, it kind of really didn't kick in, but after a few minutes, I was like, yeah, this is happening. And if I'm going to be honest, I was like pretty scared because I really didn't know what was happening outside or inside, and it's kind of hard to get all the updates when everybody's on their phone at once and the network is screwed up.
With incidents around the country, at least one parent is hoping that one day no one will have to worry about this happening to their child.
The reaction to this is just, it's nonsense. It shouldn't happen. It shouldn't happen here. It shouldn't happen anywhere. But sadly, it does.
I was just like, I just hope everything goes okay and I hope everybody makes it out, and it was a really terrifying moment, to be honest.
Together, and that's the happiest thing you can say. The happiest, and thank God it turned out the way it did.
So as you can imagine, it was a very emotional day for those parents, and they say that at the end of the day, those students being safe is all that matters. They are commending the school staff for keeping everyone relatively calm through it all. Reporting live in Greenville County, I'm Amber Worthy for Fox Carolina, the 10 o'clock news.
Amber, thanks so much for that update. And right now we do want to talk about the weather because I'll tell you, it has been hot. It has been sticky all week and earlier than usual and hotter than what we would normally get this time of year.
That's right, but Chief Meteorologist Kendra Kent says maybe a little bit of relief on the way heading into the weekend.
Yes, you know what? This is probably the hottest day that we'll experience. It's going to get better from here. We'll still make it into the 90s tomorrow. Not quite to that 97 we saw in Greenville today, though. 97 in Newberry, 93 for Spartanburg, and even 91 up in Asheville. We've cooled down to 75 across the mountains in Hendersonville anyway, and in Asheville. 84 for Greenville, 79 for Anderson, 74 over in Gaffney. We'll start off the day tomorrow in the upper 60s, then make it to the low 90s by 4 o'clock. So again, not as hot, but still well above normal for this time of year. But we're on our way to some cooler times. A slight chance of rain the second half of the day in western North Carolina. So the heat gradually backs off. I'm excited to show you the temperatures for this weekend and early next week. Isolated weekend rain. I'll show you the days are most likely to see a pop-up storm, and then the nicer air that's going to be sticking around for early in the week. We'll talk much more about it coming up in a few minutes. Of course, you'll want to download the Fox Carolina News app for the latest weather information. So happy to report that this heat wave is ending, and it actually means that that severe threat that's happened across Oklahoma, Texas, Missouri, so many places will also be coming to an end. So really good news all around, guys.
Kendra, thanks so much. Love to hear about the good news. We'll see you in a little bit. Well, to Asheville now, where the police department says they took 5 people into custody after reports of gunshots. Police say they got a call about those gunshots around 3:30 this afternoon there at the Spruce Hill Apartments. SWAT was actually called in after 2 people barricaded themselves inside one of the apartments. Eventually, 5 people were taken into custody. Buncombe County deputies are asking for any information as well about an attempted kidnapping. Deputies say a man tried to kidnap a teenage girl on Hamburg Mountain Road. He was in his 20s with gouged piercings and a tattoo on his hand near his knuckle. If you have any information on that case, call Buncombe County Crime Stoppers.
A silver alert is still out in North Carolina. The McDowell County Sheriff's Office is looking for Brooke Tolley. She does have a cognitive impairment. She was last seen along Riverview Acres in Marion. If you happen to see her, you should stay with her and call the McDowell County Sheriff's Office. Just a heartbreaking story getting worse by the day. Twin brothers, only 6 years old, killed in a horrific crash.
For me as a father, you know, they were my everything.
And now their mom is facing charges, and we're talking to their father about this heartbreaking loss.
Well, how hot can your car get in just 15 minutes? Coming up, first responders are answering that exact question and telling you how you can stay cool going into these summer months.
Yep, mic check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. All right.
Welcome back. Only on Fox here at 10. Tonight, a father is speaking out just days after his 6-year-old twins were killed in this horrific crash. Troopers say those 6-year-old boys were not seatbelted in, thrown from their vehicle right there in Pickens County. And troopers say their mother is the one that did not strap them in, and she was drunk behind the wheel. Their mother, Jennifer Knox, is now in a hospital room, charged with felony DUI among a slew of other charges. This is her kids, Camryn and Dylan Clark, and their family, as you can imagine, says they're devastated. And they're killed just 1 month shy of their 7th birthdays. And we're hearing from their father, who I can't even imagine what he's going through tonight.
Oh, just devastation. And Fox Carolina's Brookley Cromer talked to him a little earlier. She's in our newsroom tonight. So, Brookley, a sad situation. You can't even imagine that loss of what he's going through right now. What did he have to tell you?
Yeah, this is truly a heartbreaking story. And their dad lives in Florida and just got in town today. He says he was actually planning to make the drive to South Carolina next week because the boys were going to go to Florida and live with him for the summer. Instead, he's here to bring their bodies back for their funeral. Billy Clark was woken up by a knock on the door and words he'll never forget.
It was early morning, and the police come and knocked on the door and told me to sit down. And they explained to me what happened. The boys got in a car accident and they didn't make it.
He says he knew something wasn't right the moment he opened the door, and that's when everything went blank.
Pretty much my whole world just turned upside down after them words.
Police were at his home in Florida delivering the tragic news. Miles away in South Carolina, Billy's 6-year-old twin boys were killed in a wreck just hours before. He says he kept praying he would wake up and realize it was all a terrible dream. But the news, all too real.
For me as a father, you know, they were my everything.
Billy says he had just talked to the boys. They were excited about living in Florida for the summer and had plans to move back next week.
I remember talking about carnivals, cotton candy, doing stuff together as a family.
Their dad says the twins were inseparable, so much alike yet uniquely different. He says Camryn was quiet.
He was a good boy. He didn't talk much. He was more of an expression boy. You could tell what he's thinking or feeling just by looking at him.
And Dylan, a talker.
Dylan was the more wilder kid. He had high energy. He boy liked to talk.
Both boys equally loved.
I want him to be remembered as the best kids in the world.
Their dad tells me their remains will be brought back to Florida where they'll have a funeral and be buried. Now, there's a GoFundMe page set up to help out with those funeral expenses. You can find out more over at foxcarolina.com. Live in the newsroom, Brookley Cromer, Fox Carolina, the 10 o'clock news.